So I've got something to admit. I'm a Kanye West fan. I love his music, I love his sneakers, I love his fashion, and I consume a lot of the products that he makes. But recently I encountered a problem, and that's that I can't listen to his latest album, Donda 2, unless I purchase his brand new media player, the Stem Player. And that's kind of frustrating as a consumer because I already pay like $10 a month for Apple Music to get all of Kanye's other music, and so in order to grab a Stem Player, I would have to shell out $200 to buy the device. And I thought about it for a while and I realized, you know what? I only live once. Might as well spend $200 to listen to one album. So in today's video, I'm unboxing Kanye West's brand new Stem Player, his music device that allows you to actually listen to music in a couple different ways. I purchased this little media player a couple weeks ago. I think it was like a week and a half ago, and it just showed up yesterday. A couple of my friends had also bought it, but for some reason theirs showed up in like 2 days and mine took a week and a half. So I'm not sure exactly why that is, but we finally have it. So as you can see, this is the packaging for the Stem Player. It comes in this sort of plain cardboard box, very similar to how he packages his Yeezy sneakers. And I mean, you have to admit, even if you don't like Kanye West, his packaging is consistent, which I always appreciate. So you've got a pull tab here on the top, you've got a sticker here on the side with probably the serial number, you've got some more information on the bottom. It says Stem Player, battery capacity 1000 milliamp hours, input voltage 5, blah blah, model 1016, made in China. And then the last thing says Yeezy Tech by Kano, which I believe is a tech company that Yeezy worked with in order to create this device. So let's pull this pull tab right here and see what we've got. I always suck at pulling these pull tabs for some reason. I don't know why that is, but I do. There we go. Okay, so inside the box, we've got this nice neoprene covered foam package. You've got these dotted lines, which are similar to what you see on the top of the Stem Player. These are the different lines that indicate the different stems of the device. This case is actually pretty interesting. It's soft, it's got a fabric finish. It's definitely a foam case, and I'm not sure exactly how to open it, but it looks like it's like a clamshell. There we go. Okay, it's this side. There we go. Oh man, here it is. But before we get to this, let's take a look at the rest of the packaging. One thing that I just noticed that I actually really love is that the case is magnetic. So it just kind of snaps back together, which I really like. Just like a jewelry case, actually. I dig that. So first things first, you've got the USB-C cable right here, and then the Stem Player itself, and that's literally all you get. There's no instructions, no nothing. Now, as far as the actual finish of the Stem Player, I expected it to be like a plastic thing with sort of a soft matte finish, but this is actually literally like a rubber casing on it that almost feels like skin. I've heard a lot of people say that. I didn't believe them, but now that I'm feeling it, I mean, it feels like skin. It looks like you've got a volume rocker here, a power button, a speaker. You've got a USB-C port on one side with your audio out. You've got the, I guess, center button, which I'm not sure what that does, and then you've got the stems here on the side. So the way that the Stem Player works is that for every song that you have on the device, there's actually 4 different stems, which are usually different instrumentals, and you can actually change the volumes of each one of those stems by sliding on each one of these sliders. They're all touch sensitive. So for example, if you wanted to hear a song and remove the vocals, you would just slide down the stem for the vocals, or if you wanted to remove the drums, you just slide down the stem for the drums. And what's interesting about this is that it allows you to mix all the different stems. So say you want to change the volume of the vocals, just slide to the place that you want it to be at, change the volume of the drums or the instrumentals or whatever. So it gives you a lot of options. A new way of listening to music is essentially what this offers, which is really cool. But I've got to say, the actual finish of the device is really different than any other media device that I've ever felt. You've got these LEDs in each one of these stems that change depending on the volume of the stem itself, which is really cool. And it's also got haptic feedback, so whenever you slide up on one of the stems, it vibrates a little bit, which is really cool. Oh, it's got a speaker on the side. That's wild. So obviously I can't let you guys hear the music that's on this device because of course this video will get copyright striked, but I've got to say that the speaker on the side of the device is actually really decent. I have also used a friend's Stem Player, and I've got to say that the audio quality on this thing is pretty decent. I've tried it wirelessly. Obviously you still can plug in wired headphones, which in some cases might produce better audio quality, but the fact that you can actually change your experience every time that you listen to something by just changing the volume of different stems allows you to mix up the song and allows you to have a different experience every time, which I think is really cool, which makes this device really unique. Now, what's interesting about this is that Kanye could have just dropped an app that does the exact same thing, but instead he decided to go all out and drop a full-blown media player. Now, there are a couple downsides to this. One, it is difficult to pick songs because you've got no screen. Pairing headphones, like I said before, can be a challenge. There's not a lot of memory on this device, so you can only really have a couple albums on here, which is definitely a bummer. I'd like to have all of Kanye's library and maybe some other artist libraries on here as well, but you can't really do that, and $200 is very, very steep. for a media player that doesn't have a screen and also doesn't have a lot of memory. So there's that as well. This is the kind of device that you would get if you are a Kanye fan, like a heavy Kanye fan. You want to listen to Donda 2, you can't hear it anywhere else, you can only get it in Stem Player, and it's honestly, in my opinion, more of a media stunt than anything else. I think in the future, if this actually does take off, we could have a version 2 pretty soon, like next year. I think there could also potentially be an app version of this, like a stem app that allows you to actually listen to songs with stems on your iPhone, which I think would be a lot more accessible for a lot of people. Plus, that would allow Kanye to still be in charge of his music, which is one of the reasons he created this device, because he didn't want to go through Spotify and Apple anymore. So I guess if you were to ask me, is the Stem Player worth it? I would have to say, if you are a huge Kanye fan, then yes. Otherwise, probably not. It does offer some unique experiences by allowing you to listen to music in ways that you haven't heard it before, but unfortunately right now, if you're not a Kanye fan, that music is pretty much only Kanye music, so there's that. I really love the musical approach that Kanye is taking to this and creating experiences with music by breaking it up into different stems, which you can then control. I think that's super, super cool, but the fact that you have to buy a $200 device in order to try those stems and try out this new musical experience is kind of a bummer. You can do that with like DJ software as well, but obviously, you know, a lot of popular music isn't broken up into different tracks the way that music on Kanye West Stem Player is. So there are some barriers to entry, but $200 to listen to Kanye's album in a way that you've never listened to it before, I don't know. I don't know if you can justify it. I guess if you think of it as an experience that's on the same level as going to a Kanye concert, maybe in that way you can justify it, but for regular people who are not Kanye stans, this is probably not the right way to go. But if you love Kanye West and you want to hear his music and you want to hear Donda 2, and you also want to listen to some of his older albums with stems, this is a really cool thing to grab. But for $200, I don't know if I can recommend it. As far as the actual feel of the device, I have to keep going back to that because this thing is weird. It really feels like you're holding like a fleshy stone, like a fleshy pebble. At first I thought it was just a finish, like a matte finish on the device like I said earlier, but there really is a lot of give there. Like it feels like you're pressing into someone's skin. It's super, super weird. I don't know if I can get used to that. Also, I don't know how it'll wear like in my pocket when I'm bringing it along with me when I go on trips or stuff like that. But at this point, I would love to know your thoughts on the YZY Stem Player and whether this is a device that you would be interested in grabbing, whether you already have one, or whether you think it's stupid. So make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.